Hi. Uh,
I think it's the same issue again.
yeah, I don't know what is happening. Can anybody see both of us, or it's just me?
Uh, those who've joined, can you please tell if you can see our video? Like if you can see me and her both, or just me, or how? Only my video is available. So are you on phone or how?
I am on the phone. Uh, just try and okay. I can't really see my settings without leaving.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like really bad with this. All I had to do was just turn the camera around, but I still can't see you for
Oh
some reason. I
my!
feel like talking to myself.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Let me just
I really don't know. I don't understand
uh
Instagram.
1 second. Can you see me now?
No, but I have the same thing going during Georgina's live. But as long as people can see us,
Yes.
we good. I don't know how to fix it.
I don't know what's the issue, but I can see you, and I think everybody else can also see us both.
Yeah, I'm like, it's funny because I'm just talking to myself.
It's okay. Uh, so Shivani, hello, welcome. I had to chase you so much for this session, but I'm so
I'm
glad.
so sorry. It's just
Please
something or
don't
the other
be.
thing.
I know how busy you are and how many people, how many pet parents you're helping, so that's commendable.
Uh, yeah, and it's just the weekends get a little crucial also. But I'm glad we're doing this now.
Truly.
So yeah, that's more
So
important.
it's like, we chat so frequently on DMs, but finally getting to see you.
Yes,
I'm sorry you're not
I
getting to
still
see
can't see
me.
you.
Okay, once we post this, you can just revisit the live.
Yes.
So Shivani, I wanted to just tell something about you to people. So because everybody knows NutKit, what an amazing brand it is, and the products and the knowledge you share, but a little, brief about you.
Okay, so I've come from like a place I've done multiple things in life in terms of work. Um, and one thing that's always been there with me, I think that's why like this whole holistic thing has come around for pets has been because right from childhood, it's been a lot about natural healing for us. We've been into homeopathy, sujok therapy, acupuncture, acupressure, like everything used to be a part of our lives and herbs and stuff. So it was like a natural way for me to just kind of deal with all kinds of things. And it's just like when, like crucial ailments and everything started, coming around, I got a little like psyched and I started actually looking at health right from the perspective of looking at what's going on in the world today, like, studying climate change. I did a little few courses and understanding what's happening to the soil, what's happening to the water. Like that's how my whole journey started with understanding and venturing into this whole space. Done courses for holistic health in the human space. And then we came to Goa and we wanted to actually go off grid and live. And I was like, I need to figure ways on how I can help my dogs. And started figuring out ways with natural remedies and all of that. And I think like I've always been someone who's believed in choices. So this applied Zoopharmacognosy just kind of just synced in with the philosophy I believed in. And I wanted to just do it for my dogs, but somehow now it's become my career.
And we are so thankful for that, because seriously, like, I know I want more and more people to join today's session, because seriously, people do not know about this at all. I mean, I didn't even know how to pronounce the word till I came across you, and I understood what it is and how many myths you've broken for me. And I'm so thankful, and I want people to understand more about this. So if you could just give us a brief about what applied zoopharmacognosy is, so that people just know what they're getting into in this session.
So um, it comes from the applied zoopharmacognosy. It comes from, where a lot of biologists and a lot of ethologists, they've all gone out and figured ways in how animals have been like surviving in the wild. Like they don't have doctors, they don't have ways on, someone going and healing them. So how have they been surviving? How have they been healing themselves? And all of that research kind of like brought about some amazing ways in observation of how animals have been using plants to self-medicate. And now the thing is, like with our domesticated animals, since they don't have means of having a natural diversity like that, where they
True.
can go forage, figure out what they want, what their body needs, and you know heal themselves. So um, it's come to a practice called applied zoopharmacognosy, where it's a practice where animals have the knowledge, our domesticated animals have the knowledge to self-medicate. They know the remedies they need. They can sense, and through their olfactory receptors, they know the secondary metabolites, the therapeutic properties that are there in plants that they need, and they are able to select them. If you give them choices, they're able to select them, and they're able to heal themselves like that. So, in short, it's basically animals knowing. Domesticated dogs also have the same knowledge, where they're able to actually identify the medicinal properties they need from plants, and they're able to heal themselves by it's by self-selection. Yeah.
Amazing. So I don't think people know that this exists. We just like making the choices for our dogs. We just, it's a general perception that, oh, I know the best for my dog. And, we just know everything. And we try to, go about their day how we want them to be, and what we think is best. So I think with this, what you are preaching on your page also, I to like share each and every post you make, because it's everything is so new and it is so informative that people don't have any idea of. I did not know so much. So thank you for this, and kudos for taking it up, because it's something very different and it's so important for people to know, especially first timers, because first timers tend to make a lot of mistakes. We don't understand things that way, and it takes time to gain that experience. So with this knowledge, it's gonna be amazing. So as you know, I had put up a question sticker for people, because these sessions are for people. So they have come up with very interesting questions, and then some I have put them down. So because once people got to know what the session is about, some people were confused that is it about nutrition. We just had a session about nutrition, so then I had to specify that. Yeah, so that's actually the first question. That how does zoo pharmacognosy relate to animal behavior and health?
So, like I said, zoopharmacognosy, if you break it down, is also like animals having the knowledge of the remedies they need to heal. And so, how does it relate to health and behavior? Is because animals, we know that they have like a high pain endurance, and they often reflect that by behavior, because they get vulnerable, and then that's their way of communicating. And often it's a little tricky, because when we look at behavior as just in isolation, um, it could, like for example, if you look at fear, fear in isolation would just mean that we need to work with, a dog or anyone just being very shaky and pacing and shivering and all of that. But one thing to also understand is instead of fixing that behavior, uh, what is the cause for it? Why is this animal so scared? Because fear is limit like good at in a limited space
Hmm.
because it's a way to for them to also be able to like kind of survive and
True. Yeah.
kind of take care of themselves. But it's also to understand that is it being caused by any sort of like a past trauma, or is it some underlying health condition that's causing it, or is it both? So like in even in ancient principles like you have your Oriental medicine, you have Ayurveda, they all relate emotions to organs. So often a lot of like most of the emotions are related to an organ. But how do you know if the anxiety has been manifested in the kidney and it's a kidney related thing, or is it like a trauma related thing, or is the trauma causing some sort of an imbalance in the kidney that is causing a flight and fight mode in a dog
Hmm.
or any animal? So it's applied to pharmacognosy because we offer choices and because animals know the remedies that they need and the medicinal properties they need. They're able to actually, through their olfactory sensor, they're able to detect what they need, which medicine they need, whether it's for trauma or whether it's an underlying condition, and they guide you in that path. They guide you as to what they need. And when you give it to them, you offer them as much as they need, you offer it to them. They're free to like walk away if they don't want it. And over time, like you see that when the health kind of like gets better, if it's due to an underlying health condition or if it's trauma and health condition, the behavior goes away. So it's 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 like basically like behavior is a way of animal
True.
communicating. But understanding the root cause and not looking at behavior in isolation as just a behavior issue is extremely vital.
True. Yeah, that's so true. Then we have the next question is, how do you assess an animal's needs in terms of self-medication or therapeutic plans?
We look at the animal as the individual. So we look at the whole picture. We don't look at either of the symptoms, be it physical or behavior, in isolation. So we basically we get on a call, we get like the entire history, we get as much details as we can
Hmm.
about everything, about their diet, about their environment, about any past that they know of, stress and rest and everything. We literally look at everything, we connect dots, and basis that we shortlist botanicals that we offer it to them and they're able to make the choices and guide us. So the assessment we make is not by looking at anything in isolation.
That's great. So, what role do you see zoopharmacognosy playing in modern veterinary care or animal rehabilitation? This is something that even I was very keen on knowing, that how do we, like strike a balance and where veterinary care is more relevant and how we can accommodate both. So, yeah, if you could, give some insight on this.
Uh, See, I think every practice has its place, it's needed, and I think it all works in synergy very beautifully because at the end of the day, the idea is to, heal the
True.
animal. And in the veterinary space, I think it works a lot because in India, there's so many places that don't have accessibility to, going to like a clinic and getting all the kind of tests done that's required. Um, there are also a lot of a lot of dogs who are not able to get out of the house as often as, because with every kind of like a very chronic pain situation or anything, it's very difficult for the animal to keep going out. It's stressful for them. So I think at that time, it's great when it can be synced together with veterinary care, where we can work together so that the animal is in the safe place, we're able to like offer them choices, and they're able to like kind of work around with whatever is going on. So I think that synergy is what's really needed, and it can work beautifully then for a whole bunch of like animals out there, for a lot of our pets actually.
So, don't you think like vets should also be made aware about this, strata, so that they are, because I have seen like most vets are very set on their uh, practices and ideologies and the treatment, but there are some vets who are like very open to learning something that is not just a course for them. So, like, have you come across vets who have listened to what you are preaching and then worked in sync with you, and then the animal has got the necessary help in the best way possible?
Yeah, actually, I've been working with Dr. Negi, who's been really open. He's been very curious to know about how this practice works. And, we were in a place where I didn't have the kind of facilities I needed for my own dog donor to work on. Like, he had some health issues going on, and we were trying to figure what the hell is going on. So, Dr. Negi was very open to it. He was happy to hear what Donut was choosing, what was going on. And, I was telling him that these botanicals are potentially the causes for this. So then, we were working together, and it was a beautiful synergy. So thankfully, the vets are opening up to different ways of healing and
True.
working around this. So yeah, it was, I mean, till date, I've only worked with Dr. Negi, and yeah, I'm really hoping there will be more who will be open to this.
Yeah, because I think this can really, help the animal quicker, because, with self medication, self selection, they can, guide us on, the botanicals, as you said. And then based on that, the vet can, actually identify, oh, that this is the area that maybe needs understanding. So this is
Yeah.
amazing. I wish more and more people learn about this, and then it's like a good conversation that you can also have with your vet, because you also know something, and you can get the desired answers and ask the right questions.
Yeah, and more than that, like veterinary care is also like very
True.
expensive these days. So a lot of times when a dog is or any animal is being able to guide you that, this is the area with like by choosing these botanicals, that this is the area that something's going on, you can focus on that and get the necessary tests and, the diagnosis
True.
done
Yeah.
basis that. So that helps a lot actually.
Okay, so the next question is, are there any specific plants or substances that animals instinctively seek out when they are unwell?
So most plants have like varied medicinal properties. So there's not something that there's not one particular plant or anything that they will actively go and choose if they are unwell. How it works is similar to, how when we get maybe fever or cold or cough,
Hmm.
you feel that your taste buds have
True.
changed.
Yeah.
Um, and there's certain things that you like to eat, and there's certain things that really put you off. And it's similar to them when, they're not feeling well internally. Their immune function actually sends these messages to their taste receptors. The taste receptor changes, and in the wild, animals are able to go foraging for whatever preference they have to make that,
Hmm.
like that
Yeah.
taste get better. So it could be like something that will help them heal if they find something more bitter, or they find something that is more pungent. So it's not a particular thing, but what I really, really encourage people to do is have a little small herb, little garden going, in the balconies or wherever little space that you have, maybe in the society that you stay in. And every once in a while, like, see what your dog is choosing. And sometimes it gives a lot of clues, and you can connect a lot of other symptoms that may be going on to be able to understand that, okay, this is the reason why my dog is choosing this particular plant.
So
So I think
there's one
going
small,
herb,
yeah, one small example. Because of you, I got to learn this, because there were times in our previous place on the terrace, there were many tulsi plants that were planted. So Penny used to, love, not normally and normally as well, but especially when she was feeling a little uneasy, So she would really go and start chomping. Like otherwise, she'll just go sniff and maybe take a leaf and go away. But on those days, I used to feel so embarrassed because I hadn't planted those, and she literally chomped off half the tulsi plant. And I was like, okay, now this is not normal. So this is something she's trying to tell me. And actually, just moments later, I saw a very slimy poop come out. So I think that's her way of, so that's how I really noticed. Otherwise, everybody thinks that, oh no, it's very normal that dogs are eating plants. What's special in that? But as you said that, having a herb garden really helps. That's very true. So, okay, then coming to the next question, what are the key principles of holistic healing and how do they differ from conventionally vet treatments?
So holistic healing is what? It's like having a balance of mind, body, and soul. And how to go about it is to kind of address the entire ecosystem because everything impacts the mind, body, and soul. So some of the key principles I would be like, of course, like, look into the diet, look into the stress, because stress really, really impacts pretty much everything in dogs and cats and humans and everyone. Look at, of course, the sourcing and everything. Observe, give choices, observe, see what your dog is choosing, see how if you observe them, you actually notice a lot of things that you wouldn't otherwise. Like I would give an example of, like, for example, even looking at fear. Um, when we are scared, yeah, we all react very differently. Some may be very like dramatic, and some of us have displacement behavior where we try to like kind of overcome that fear. Some get very restless, and we all have like different individuals also whose energetics we kind of like rely on in terms of where they feel the safety and the comfort and everything. And I would say that these kind of observations are extremely vital when it comes to like, looking at any sort of holistic aspect, observation. Um, Other key principles is that, we all want natural stuff, but when it also comes to natural stuff, it also has to be offered, because when we start doing that, we start giving herbs and natural stuff to them in their food bowls and everything, we kind of like also don't understand how it's working for them. Is a particular thing even like helping them? So the holistic ways also are always about giving choices, see what the animal needs. So these are some of the things, of course, like, going more natural with anything that you're putting around, um, working on yourself because you're, again, a part of the
And
ecosystem.
they can take on our energies as well. They can sense it very well.
They
Yeah.
actually even sense if you have any sort of ailment going on. There have been like so many these communicators that have come across cases where this animal just wasn't eating, this dog just wasn't eating. And when they did this whole communication thing, they figured that the dog was trying to say something, but the human is not well and I'm upset.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they actually sense so
Yeah.
much that it's important to really, really work around yourself. You're like a huge, huge part of the
True.
ecosystem, like a big part of the
And I've seen
ecosystem. So it's
that
so
they
important.
pick on our habits as well and our routines as well. It's very amazing because many times it's said that they pick up on the behavior and the routine. If we are lazy, they are lazy. So that's something very fascinating about them.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so coming to the next question. So this was the most common question because from what I've seen that so many dogs are having like gut issues every now and then. So this was a question that like 3-4 people had asked. My dog frequently eats grass, How can I differentiate whether it's just a normal practice or some health issue that needs addressing? I know when he throws up after eating grass, there was something bothering his tummy, but he loves to eat grass whenever he gets a chance. So, should I be concerned, and how do I differentiate when it is normal? Just like I had told about Penny some time back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if dogs don't have the enzymes to really break down so much of plant matter. So they're not really eating it because their body needs it. And in the sense, they're not eating it because of food. They're not eating it as food. They're eating it because as medicine. If it's happening too frequently, and if the dog is being throwing up, I would say there's some sort of like an pathogen inside, something unwanted that it's really looking to purge out. And it could be a bacterial infection, it could be a toxin overload. So it's important to also kind of like connect other symptoms and try and understand whether, what could be the core reason, but definitely look into it if they're eating grass so frequently.
But what if like this is when they eat grass and then they purge and then they throw up and then they start feeling well. But I have seen there are many dogs that they have a habit of eating grass like very frequently and without throwing up. So is that normal or is there a
No, so dogs eating grass so frequently is not normal because the body doesn't need so much plant matter.
Hmm.
And it's most often because there's some sort of like an issue going on inside. Most often it's like pathogen related. So if it's happening too frequently, definitely need to, if they actually eat, they throw up and they're back to normal and they're not eating grass anymore, that's fine. They've done what they
Yeah.
need to do, they've taken out whatever was bothering them. But if it's happening too frequently, you need to kind of address what is going on inside. What is it that they're looking to purge out and support them, with that. So
Could it be like they're trying to point out maybe some deficiency that is there, something that is missing in the diet that they're trying to fulfill
so
because
with plant matter, very often the deficiency doesn't really come up as much in terms of like whatever has been studied. If you feel there is any sort of like a deficiency, again, like I said, it's important to look at like different symptoms as well, like not look at just one thing. Okay, he's eating grass. Is there anything else going on that could be like a deficiency? If your dog is stressed out, yes, there could be deficiency, and then you can address it. So don't look at the dog eating grass as the only thing to figure. Try and connect like more symptoms, and then figure out what could be the cause.
so I can see Georgina has mentioned something on this. She's saying that or looking for some microorganisms that can help.
Usually that I feel is with soil more than grass is what I know of for sure.
Okay. So coming to the next question, what holistic treatments do you recommend for common issues like arthritis, anxiety, or digestive problems in dogs?
There are a whole bunch of different holistic treatments. For example, with arthritis, there is acupressure, there is acupuncture, there is cold laser therapy, there is red red light therapy, there is applied zoopharmacognosy. It's best to kind of like always work with a practitioner, uh, and also like kind of figure out. Now, in terms of like herbs and stuff, I would say that it also depends a lot in terms of how the dog's synergy is. For example, ginger is also very good for arthritis, but if the dog really gets heated up internally, if there's a lot of heat built up, if that is how the dog's synergy is, adding ginger would kind of like make either cause secondary conditions, or it could just worsen it and it cause more heat internally. So with herbs, I think it works best when you kind of like understand the dog's synergy a lot more, understand the energetics a lot more. Uh, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of these other holistic treatments that one can go for. In terms of anxiety again, it's depends. There's so many different kinds of anxieties, and so many different kinds of anxieties causes are very different. So the treatment for anxiety, one basic holistic treatment is like reduce the stress. Actually, that goes with like everything. Reduce the stress. And then try to figure out the cause of the anxiety. Like if there's separation anxiety, it could mean something else. If there is fear, it could mean something else. If there is resource guarding, it could mean something else. So it's important to kind of like understand why is like this anxiety happening, or what is the purpose of this anxiety, like why is the dog like showing these signs. So this holistic treatment wise, for us again, like we work with understanding the whole situation and addressing it like that again with choices and self-selection. Digestive issues again is anxiety causing digestive issues, is the digestive issues because of diet, is digest because if the diet is not balanced, if the diet is not species. So I don't think there's like a common holistic treatment for that. There are lots of different treatments like I just spoke about, but it's also like kind of understanding what is causing it and then addressing it
So
from
I
there.
think for these particular issues, it would be best if people get in touch with a practitioner rather than finding things out via Google or maybe just some post or something. Because then, because as I remember, we had this discussion once when Penny was having severe allergies that too many ingredients can also interfere with each other and nullify the purpose. So that's something that only you can get that knowledge from a practitioner.
Yeah.
So I hope whoever asked these questions got their answers, because this was a very like common thing. Specific people wanted to know the specifics, but I think it again depends from case to case basis. That
Yeah, it is case to case. It's also about, it's like looking at like one spec. Like for example, arthritis. You look at a treatment, you believe in it, you go for it, but at the same time, there's so much more in the management aspect. So I think like at the end of the day, whoever you're going to, make sure that you're not like just focusing on healing the pain, but looking at different avenues and ways to like kind of make the pain like more manageable and more easy to cope with on a day-to-day basis.
true. Okay, so the next question is again something that so many dogs are suffering from, and I also got multiple queries for this. So my dog suffers from severe shedding and itching almost every other month. Tried everything from antibiotics, a diet check. My dog is on a species appropriate fresh food diet. Allergy testing, but nothing helped for a long time. It always reoccurs periodically. Vet says it is environmental and not related to food, but I actively make sure to get rid of all unnecessary toxins that might be triggering it. Can you please help with any supplements or holistic remedies that can help? The paws are not pink, there are no red spots, just foul odor from the ears and terrible itching and shedding.
So when I hear ear and itchiness, I kind of relate to a lot of heat buildup, a lot of an imbalance in the kidney, uh, and probably needs a kidney and a liver cleanse. So, when we also try to do so much in our home environment when it comes to keeping it toxin free, using everything natural, um, they still have like so much going on from everywhere else in the environment. Yeah, like literally from the air that they're breathing in, from um, they go out sniffing here and there. There's pathogens everywhere. There's toxins everywhere. So, and ears are usually when, especially if there's a bad odor, if there is no moisture or earwax, I would say just try and do like a kidney and a liver cleanse, because that usually surfaces to some sort of like a ear redness or
Hmm.
ear odors, and it leads to dryness.
Hmm.
So that could be the reason for all the itchiness.
So the person has said that they have tried like multiple treatments and it subsides and then again it flares up. So what could be the cause, like excess shedding and because shedding is a problem with most dogs I've seen, even if they are on fresh food, the species appropriate diet. There are dogs that still shed. Even with Penny, sometimes I feel that she's shedding more, but I'm really not able to identify. But then again, it gets normal. So sometimes it's like, seasonal change when they're shedding the coat. But otherwise, what could the triggers be? Like, is food allergy really common, or it can be environmental more?
I think food intolerance is a possibility. Now, like it's very difficult for us to also get like hormone-free
Yeah.
food and you know, food that we don't know where it's really coming from. How stressed was the animal when, we actually, by the time that it got the
True.
transportation of the meat that came. We don't know so many of these things. So at the end of the day, we do our best when, with how much you can provide and what you can provide. Um, I really, really feel one thing that everybody needs, humans, dogs, cats, everybody, is a good drainage and a detox protocol. Uh, there's just too much going on, and you need a cleanse. You just need a cleanse. You also need to start giving your digestive system a rest. So stop feeding them like very often. Stop feeding them too many dry. Again, like I don't know, this shedding is because even if it's in a species appropriate diet, we end up like maybe overcooking the meat, or maybe we keep giving like too many trees. So we're not giving the digestion the rest. We're not letting the kidneys and the liver to function, at the pace that they should be.
Hmm.
There needs to be long gaps where they're not being fed very often. So all of these kind of contribute. If there is like air condition on, that causes a lot of dryness internally as well. So water intake is like so important, especially if the pets are in, air condition a lot of
Hmm.
times. So there's a lot that comes into play. I really feel that a lot of shedding is happening because of a lot of built up inside. A lot of built up inside. It could be either excess heat or it could be excess dampness. So it's important to like kind of understand again, by connecting a lot of dots.
Okay. So the next question is, what dietary considerations should be made for dogs with allergies, food sensitivities, or gastrointestinal issues?
I think I don't want to touch diet. I think they should go to like you know canine nutritionist and figure this out.
Okay. Uh, my dog has a sensitive gut. Can you tell if this can be fixed and what approach should I take for it?
So sensitive gut, there's definitely inflammation. Usually there's a dysbiosis. Again, it's important to kind of figure what's causing it. It could be like there's some sort of like health up trauma that's causing it. It could be the diet. There's so many different ways to like kind of figure this out. So can't really tell what to do, but I would say that if the dog is stressed out, if there are any anxiety or fear issues or anything, try to figure that bit out first, because that really, really kind of um, affects the gut. Um, Again, chemicals, try and remove as much chemicals as you can from the system. If there's dampness around you, dampness creates a lot of like gut sensitivity as well. So if there's dampness in your house, there could be hidden molds in the house. So those are some things to really figure that. But at the end of the day, yes, sensitive gut can be helped with, can be looked into. can be done in a holistic manner with looking into the entirety of the situation.
Okay. Uh, so how do herbs or superfoods like turmeric, ginger, spirulina, etc. benefit a dog's immune system or overall vitality?
Um, okay, so herbs are also medicine. And so one is, of course, it's important to like kind of source it right. Like if for it to have the active ingredients that it needs if you're using it for healing. Um, Taking an example of turmeric, you need to have turmeric that is got at least 6 to 7% of curcumin in it for it to even like kind of benefit the animal. At the same time, not every superfood and not every herb is good for every dog.
True.
Again, the same thing, like turmeric is a very warming herb. So if your dog has internal heat or has like heat in as a core element, turmeric is something that you should definitely avoid. So, and again, don't add too many things all the time into their food bowl because the system kind of gets immune to all of these things. So when your body actually needs a certain thing for healing, it won't really work as it should
Hmm.
because your system's already been having too much of that on a daily basis. So when you actually want to use it as medicine, it might not work. So use it when the body needs it. I always talk about choices. Give it to them as a choice in their bowl, give it to them a choice, selectively, like not even in their food or close to their food. Spirulina is something that I offer to my dogs at least once a month, along with other herbs, as like my maintenance check to see what they're selecting and why they're selecting something. So there are all of these herbs. If the immunity is good, if all of that is fine, if there is no problem, if there is no condition, have like a maintenance check where you actually offer them certain of these herbs with active ingredients and you're sourcing them right and see what they're selecting. They will tell you, okay, this is what I needed, and maybe it's just one time that they'll actually select it, and that is it. That was enough for the time.
Okay, I think people really need to understand and look into more about cell selection because the common idea is that this herb, that herb, just add it in the bowl and give it, and we think that everything is in check. And despite that, there are so many recurring health issues that we observe, but we have no clue that I'm giving spirulina, I'm giving this, I'm giving bee pollen, then why is it not happening as you explained? So yeah, that's very
Even
important.
like bee pollen and honey, for example, I mean, you really have to look at them as medicine, and you have to start looking at them whether the animal really needs it. For example, um, honey. Um, if if you actually kind of offer it to your dog, say during a time when there's a lot of like pollen activity around, there are a lot of allergy symptoms around, you offer it to them, they'll have it. Offer it to them, just as is. There are a lot of chances that they won't. This also becomes like a habit where you're able to kind of understand a lot more if you start giving them these choices instead of just adding things in their bowl. They start showing you, so you don't even need so many things. You don't even need, if you start giving, like even with garlic and ginger, if you offer it to them and see if they really need it, they tell a lot about their personality and their needs and their energetics. So you'll start understanding your dog and your dog's needs a lot more.
True. So, then are there natural ways to boost a dog's immune system to prevent infections or health issues before they happen?
Just meet their needs. Stress is something that really contributes to a whole lot of conditions. So managing the stress, taking them out in nature, variety in food, variety in different kinds of soils. So taking them out in different places, grounding, take them out for, a place where you actually slow down, you sit down, also let them do what they want on good soil. Like you have to be sure it's not being sprayed with pesticide and stuff. Give them choices, even in terms of where they want to sleep, when they want to sleep. Observe your dog. I think that's something that I've learned only in the past 1 year or so, where um, I started observing and I've started noticing. So I have two beagles, same breed. Of course, they come from like different backgrounds and stuff. But once I start observing them, I also start realizing how they both need different things, even in terms of training. I can't train them the same way because they're different, right? Like you and me might not be able to learn in the same
True.
way. Like I remember this in my class as well. Like a lot of them would be able to just listen to things and they would remember everything. I had to write down everything to actually kind of grasp what was going on. I had to write to be able to. So we all learn things differently, and I think it goes with them as well. Like a lot of them will not train in a certain way. They need a different way. Like my walnut, it takes time to process. He's actually an earth element. He's a philosopher, so he takes time to process things. So I can't train him the same way that I can train Donut, who's a different element and needs a different form of training. So I think like observing when you do all of this, when you're able to like give them and diet, training, all of that as per their personality, as per the element, as per the needs, it works on their immunity, it works on their well-being, it works on their gut, it works in like, a holistic manner. So observation, I think, is key in terms of figuring a lot of things out.
True, that's so true. So the next question is, what are the best holistic alternatives to traditional pain management medication like steroids and anti-inflammatory meds, etc., for dogs suffering from joint or muscle pain?
Similar to what I said, the different practices like there's acupressure, there's acupuncture. We work a lot with pain as well. So that's again worked with choices where when we offer them botanicals, they actually will sometimes show us and guide us if they need an application, and they actually show us and tell us where they want the application and how much of that they need. So we do that with Applied Zoopharmacognosy. Then, of course, there's red light therapy. There is go laser therapy. There's a lot coming up nowadays in terms of pain and management. But one thing, if a dog is in pain and if you are taking him out in nature, or if you have a place like a little yard or something, give them some earth. The soil has so much anti-inflammatory um, properties. Like I really feel that one thing that you can give them is grounding, is nature.
True.
That's something I think is really, really essential. I completely understand when a dog is in pain and you're not able to take them because pain, carrying them in the car, um, it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress, and you don't heal with stress. So just cut down on all of that stress. If you feel that they're in a lot of pain, if you need to like put them in the car management is again like a big thing to work with. We
True.
work a lot on that as well when we work with pain.
So maybe if you have some example, like how a dog that in your consultation, or maybe your own dog, they would have guided you when they are in pain, or how did they exactly express that they need help and how they are benefiting from that. If any small example, if you have.
So we worked with a senior dog at one time, but I think I'll talk about Donut because I like talking about my dogs and not taking my clients' cases without their permission. Um, So Donut, a few months ago, sometime in July, he suddenly like yelped in pain, and after that he just was limping, and after some time he couldn't walk. He just couldn't walk. He just couldn't get up. He was crying and he would take like half an hour struggling, holding on to our hands, figuring out how to get up if he wanted to go and eliminate or change his position. It was bad. It was a bad situation. It was in a weekend, and I was in a place where I didn't have the kind of veterinary care that I needed for him. And I knew that carrying him in the car and all that would just be very stressful. I took out my botanicals, I offered it to him. Um, so now with botanicals and offering also like something that I should mention and that you shouldn't try to do it on your own is because the science that they give us when they need a particular oil is very different compared to conventional behavior. In like conventional behavior, LDIX would mean anxiety, whereas when we're offering oils, it means that they are actually like taking in the molecules of the botanicals.
True.
So, so he guided me with what was going on, where the pain was. He showed me, with like, again, there are like signs where they're able to show where he wanted the application. Um, 2 days we were able to like get him walking. He tried to jump on the couch, it came back, and then we had like another five
Beagles.
days of sleepless nights and everything and just working with him. But now he's like, yeah, after like 5 days, he was back. He just like was running around doing his thing. And but yeah, like he in fact like chose a few remedies in the beginning that were very different from what he started choosing a little later. So when like, first it was pain and
True.
inflammation and everything. And after that, it was so much about like just inflammation. And a little bit of like some sort of like a tendon thing that he has a little bit of a tendon issue. So yeah, so he literally guided us as to what, I mean, quite honestly, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have my knowledge back then, because it was a horrible, horrible situation, and
Can imagine.
I would have been lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. So that's why like people should really study more into this and see posts like you post or maybe from other creators who are talking about this, because if only a basic sense or knowledge you have that can help you calm down as a parent and take the right steps, that is also very important. Like as you said, if we don't know about this and we see this happening, we are just like all over the place and head doesn't work, and we panic and then they panic and it becomes a very stressful situation. Oh,
Yeah, that's one thing I've really, really worked on because I've come from um, a lot of anxiety issues myself. So that's something that I've really worked on myself because I started seeing how it's impacted my dogs. And you start seeing so many changes once you actually just work on yourself. You see a change in your own dogs.
true. That's so true. Then, do certain breeds or types of dogs respond better to holistic healing methods than others, particularly when it comes to inherited conditions or specific health challenges?
It's not so much about the breed, but it's so much about the trauma, the baggage that they may be coming from, or especially when it comes to inherent conditions. You know, there's a lot to factor because if you know it's an inherent condition, then there's a lot to factor because the the I mean, you really have to work with the entire personality of the dog, and you can't address only the cause of whatever is going on because they've come with not just the condition, they've also come with the emotions that they have taken from the genes.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's so much of a breed related thing, but it's so much about trauma related thing. And it's important to kind of understand if something is not working in terms of natural remedies, it's fine. But also like natural ways take time. So if you believe in a certain practice, give it time, let it work. And if it's not working, if you've given it time, it's not working, then look at something else. But with management, with holistic management, it does take time.
True. So it can be like genetic as well, because there are many I mean, genetics play a very important role, and different dogs behave differently. So that could also be a factor in this.
Absolutely. I mean, I think genes do play a role, but I also feel that there are ways to like work around it. So I've been reading a lot of books on genetic changes and stuff, and it's been very interesting because we did learn in Applied Zoopharmacognosy how essential oils do have the potential to change gene expression. So I was very keen on reading more about genetics in that manner. So yeah, it is. We do. I mean, it is possible that we carry like health conditions, emotions, and all kinds of other things via genes. I mean, like, think of it, right? We know how bad the breeding industry
True.
is. So they are in such stressed conditions that, I mean, in like stressed conditions, they're not going to be able to produce pups that are going to be healthy. It's just impossible. So yeah, so most dogs, when they come from these stress conditions, they do come from a lot of like immunity issues or fear issues or anxiety issues and a lot of other baggage. It's similar to humans as well, actually. It's the same.
True.
If yeah.
Uh, can you recommend any holistic remedies for managing separation anxiety or fear-based behavior in dogs, especially during stressful situations like thunderstorms, fireworks, other loud noises, vet visits, etc.?
Muffet. So Muffet is so Muffet is something that was curated to help dogs, kind of like be able to cope in these situations. Um, but I do always keep saying that while Muffet does help, and I do recommend it because it's not good for any dogs to kind of be in such a fearful environment or at a fearful space, but always try and also understand how you can help them kind of heal with the the fear, like, why is that fear happening? Why is the separation anxiety? So I'm trying to understand that. Is there an underlying condition that I need to work with? Will that be able to kind of also let go of not just the health bit, but also the behavior or the anxiety? So if it helps, I also feel that we can help you if you want to kind of like heal them in entirety of fear or the separation anxiety.
Okay. Then, are there holistic practices that, this was a very interesting question. Are there holistic practices that dog parents can adopt in their daily routine to help keep their dog mentally balanced and prevent behavior issues from recurring?
Yes, my favorite topic.
I knew that. That's why I said it's a very interesting question.
So, yes, I mean, everything you're doing for your dog, do it for yourself. You know, be it diet, getting rid of chemicals, managing stress, all of that. When you go out for walks or trails or everything, open your shoes as well. Go out there, put your foot on like soil, do all of that. Reduce your EMFs, electromagnetic forces. I cannot tell you how much they actually influence our uh, everyday, like whatever, like be it the garden, everything, and even the hormones for that matter. So reduce all of that. Switch off your Wi-Fi's. Use low lighting at night. Try to also see how much of the biological clock, the circadian rhythm that you can actually work with. So start eating at the right time. Try seeing if you can kind of also have like a good sleep cycle as per again the circadian rhythm, so that your liver and everything is functioning, is at rest and it's functioning, it gets its due diligence. Um, what else? Like I stopped using flickering lights. That has such an effect on the hormones as well. Um, so a lot of these little things, I think, you slowly slow down. Don't be like, kind of be in a hurry to always be somewhere, do something. Spend time with your dog without the phone, without anything. Just do nothing with them. I think doing nothing is so productive most
True,
times.
that is so true.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, these are like a few ways that you can really impact. Perfumes, oh my God, I cannot tell you so much about the perfumes and how we've completely let go of that in our life like a few years ago. If you actually spray perfume on a plant, you can actually see it die.
Oh my God.
Um, Perfumes, try to get rid of perfumes from yourself. Like try and see if there are like more natural mists that you can use. All of these, I think, you kind of start applying little. Don't try to put everything into like, okay, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this, because then you get overwhelmed, then you don't do
True,
anything.
true.
So take baby steps, but start doing things, Everything that you do for yourself has an impact on them. So definitely do a lot for yourself.
That's amazing. Like the whole family needs to take care of
Absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. So this was a question from like 2, 3 dogs that dog pets that I got. What herbal remedies or natural supplements can support the immune system during tick fever treatment? Are there specific herbs known to aid in the recovery process?
So actually, also it depends on the symptoms and the how the dog is. Like for example, if the dog is still active and not showing it, has like asymptomatic symptoms and everything, I would say that one thing you should try and doing is movement. Like don't let them like, because movement really helps to like kind of keep the lymphatic system in check and letting the body like kind of function with the drainage and letting go of all the toxins and everything. Work on uh, specific herbs, I would say, like especially like something for the kidney and the liver support, because they need to be able to kind of like flush all the medications and everything. Um, I would say that that has to be worked again with either your holistic practitioner, your nutritionist, or your vet, because you have to also understand how they can come in. I mean, do they work with the medication? Do they not work along with the medication? Should be given later. My two favorites for the cleanse is dandelion root and bill thistle. Dandelion root is something that I've been using a lot of late, especially in this season, which I should also introduce. These are the two things. Along with that, again, stress management, make them more like comfortable, make them more do things that they would enjoy. I think with herbs and everything, you cannot use it as allopathy. It depends a lot on the symptoms. It depends a lot on the what are like the blood evaluations. Like, do you need support for the kidney? Do you need support for the liver? Do you need support for that? So it can't be given in a powder form and just being like, take this. It's something that you have to understand symptoms wise, like because again with tick fever, a lot of people are having very different symptoms. A lot of them are having a lot of joint pain and
Yeah.
everything. So for that again, I think the kidney is what gets impacted and causes, because kidney governs the bone. So it's mostly related to the kidney. So kidney cleanse, kidney support is definitely needed.
That's something very interesting to know. And because tick fever is like it's an epidemic right now, and every other dog, especially in Bangalore. So, and I'm sure in like big cities where it's spreading like wildfire. Like every other dog we know is getting tick fever, and the gut and body in general gets impacted really bad, because I have seen like friends' dogs getting developing some secondary things, like a dog got thyroid, and then the liver values shot up like crazy for one dog. So yeah, that's something very important you addressed here.
Yeah, so the
uh,
liver cleanse again is important because liver is also, and why they start getting thyroid issues and stuff, because liver also kind of regulates the hormones, right? So if they are having any kind of like an imbalance or the liver is pressured, it's possible that they'll start having some sort of like thyroid issues.
True.
And that usually comes because this you can't avoid the heavy medications that comes with tick fever.
Yeah. Uh, can you suggest an effective remedy for a dog with upset stomach, flatulence, etc.? What to give when my dog has loosies? The internet is divided with opinions.
Sorry, what?
What to give? Like, can you suggest on an effective remedy for a dog with upset stomach, flatulence, etc.? What to give when my dog has loosies? The internet is divided with opinions.
So, one is if it's a one-off, um, slippery elm is something that I keep whenever the dog is having some sort of like a loose stool or anything. But if it's happening too frequently, if there is like flatulence, if there is loose stools, upset stomach, definitely look beyond just like fixing it at that moment. There's definitely inflammation inside, so this digestive system is not working pretty well. So you'll have to kind of understand why, figure out whether it's from something in the diet that's causing it, something in the environment that's causing it, if there is some sort of anxiety that's causing it. So try and address that on the root cause, but um, at the time when the losses are happening, giving the digestive system a rest is great. And slippery elm is one of my favorite herbs to have in hand.
Yeah, because I've seen like many where parents are very okay with this, and I have seen it among my close friends as well, that yeah, like their dog very frequently has gut issues, very frequently has loose stools, and they are pretty okay with it, because at the moment you treat it, obviously with medication or something, it'll stop, but then the root cause, as you said earlier, is needs addressing, that what is causing these frequent things. So yeah,
Yeah,
so this is very important, when people should not self-diagnose things and just shrug it and reach professionals. And I mean, knowing the root cause is what is important.
absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, are there any herbs that may help slow the progression of cancer or improve quality of life for dogs undergoing cancer treatment?
Yeah. I don't know so much about herbs, but we do have essential oils that help with dogs who have cancer. Um, it helps to promote healthy cells. It kind of stops supplying blood to tumors. So there are different ways that we can help dogs who have cancer, and they're all with self-selection. So it's nothing that is forced on them. It's nothing that is added to their food or anything. And most dogs have chosen these oils and they work with them and they take as much as they want. This kind of does also make a difference to what stage C cancer is in. So, but we definitely can help with botanicals. Yeah.
Because I think with such terminal illnesses, people want to try everything possible and just help with whatever can heal the dog best. My dog is diagnosed with chronic kidney disease and is on heavy medication, with which affects his gut time and again. What holistic remedies can support kidney function and help boost his gut?
Again, like it much depends on the diet they are in, but definitely, I think for this, especially when there's such a chronic, if it's in a chronic stage, work with a nutritionist who works with herbs and natural remedies because, like I said, it can't work as, I mean, I can suggest like, like I've suggested for kidney cleanse, I've suggested dandelion root and stuff, but it may not be the right thing basis a lot that, is going on. So I think for chronic conditions, it's best to work with somebody who understands and is able to help, with a specific condition.
Yeah, especially I think they must be on some medication, so nothing should
Yeah.
interfere with that. That's important.
Absolutely.
Are there any herbal supplements or natural remedies that can support metabolism or help with fat burning in dogs? Can holistic strategies help overweight or obese dogs to safely lose weight and maintain a healthy BCS?
So, yeah, like you have to understand the reason for weight gain. There are so many. Um, it could be that, it could be an hormonal imbalance. If the dog has been spayed or neutered, usually there's an imbalance in the hormones. There is some imbalance in the liver that causes water retention, that causes weight issues. So that could be one reason. It also could be because of if there is some sort of internal dampness, because what happens when there's internal dampness is that it's usually related or connected with the spleen and the stomach. The food via the spleen is kind of like goes to the stomach and it kind of breaks down and wo- makes energy for the body to start like functioning. But if the spleen and the stomach is not balanced, if there's either a deficiency or if there's if there's an imbalance and they're not being able to do their work, then there's undigested food that remains. And that causes dampness and it causes weight gain. So there are multiple reasons as to why the dog would be gaining weight. So I would say that kind of understand why instead of just like adding something to their food. Uh, I'm guessing that you already have like a nutritionist on board, so you have that in check, but understand why. So I think that's more important because weight gains are due to many, many reasons.
And I've seen like there are so many powders that are available, that just add it in the bowl and the allergy will go away, anti-allergy, and then that's the most common powder that's available so many places. And then even there are weight loss powders as well that can accelerate metabolism and help in fat burning. So yeah, I think as you said that things work in synergy and there is no one quick fix for things.
Yeah.
Uh, my dog gets frequent hot spots on her body as she is very outdoorsy. Each time the vet puts her on steroids or antibiotics and gets the issue fixed. Her blood work is all clear, but I don't want to put her on such strong meds each time the issue reoccurs. Can you suggest some holistic remedy to heal the hot spots?
So hotspots are again, they're usually like due to something that's going on internally. Um, I would say that addressing that along with the environment. Now, if you're living in a very damp and moldy environment, there are chances that there is also internal dampness. Um, so you'll have to kind of like also kind of figure things internally and not just apply things because especially if it's recurring. If it's a one-time thing, you can try our French green tea. It's worked on a lot of dogs with hot spots. But if it's recurring and if it's happening too often, look at the internal bit. Try and see if there are other symptoms. Are you seeing also anything in the ears? Are you seeing any other behavior changes? Are you seeing maybe like mucousy stools. So there are a whole bunch of other things that you can connect and figure out maybe why there is why there are hotspots happening. Another way to figure is hotspots are also due to another kidney imbalance. So that's something again that you can look at. Maybe do a cleanse of the kidney, and that could work internally as well.
So, but is it possible, like, if a dog is like the person has written that the dog is very outdoorsy, goes on a lot of adventures, is it possible, like, those dogs are prone to getting hotspots frequently, or is it something always related to some internal issue?
No, no, I think like dogs who are more outdoorsy usually have like more a better immunity, unless there's something else that's going on. And like if there is an imbalance, for example, in the kidney and that's causing the hotspots, when we start giving like harsh medication, it kind of like just keeps adding to the kidney trying to function and letting go and like kind of like filtering out all the toxins and chemicals and everything. So I would say that you could try a French green clay, try offering bitter food, bitter greens. Um, if you can message us and tell us if there's any other symptoms, and so we can try and figure if there is any dampness or anything, and then maybe we can suggest something more in that context.
So, I heard something about calendula also, that it can help heal the hotspot, like
Yeah,
calendula oil or
yes.
balm.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, calendula is another great thing for the skin.
Okay.
So yeah, the calendula salve, yes, for sure.
What holistic treatments can help with recurrent ear infections or ear mites in dogs?
Recurring again, I would always connect the ear to the kidney because ear, okay, think of it, yeah, ears are like where like pretty much everything in terms of the hearing or the senses that is going on, right? Where they're always like poking up and figuring out if they hear a noise, figuring out if they are, if either is a smell, they smell something, or they're hearing something and it's poking up. So ears are like big tools where a lot of sensory receptors are also there, and they are connected big time to the kidney because again, a lot of those senses that they pick up, even emotional wise, are carried to the kidney. So if there is again an imbalance, I would say that try and check. I would say just start doing cleanse, like do a lot of cleanse for kidney, support the kidney, try and see if that's what's causing the ear issues. If not, look at the environment because usually like ear infections, it's environmental as well because if there is dampness, it causes ear issues. If there is toxin environment, it starts creating issues in the ear. So I would say that look at if there is any sort of an inflammation or an imbalance in the kidney, work with that, cleanse it. It should hopefully like kind of work with the ear itself.
So, as you said, like the liver and kidney cleanse, so should it be done only when you see an issue, or is it like it can be a part of like a periodic care, as you said, maintenance? Like after certain period, you can just do it once.
I think it. I think there should be like some sort of like a cleansing protocol for most dogs because we do live in a toxin environment. So depends on the environment you live in and how often your dog faces any sort of conditions that you can actually kind of see whether you want to do it like on a monthly basis or a bi-yearly basis or on a yearly basis. So it much depends on dog to dog, but there definitely should be cleansing protocol that you should have. Drainage and cleansing, I would say, because I don't think you can detox without having some sort of like a drainage funnel thing as well. I like to do it again, like with choices. So I give my dog choices in terms of botanicals and see whether they are looking for any sort of cleanse, unless they're showing me signs and I do it.
If you could just maybe give a brief, because we have talked about self-selection and choices. Like suppose like I'm a layman pet parent and I'm just giving, I have a diet from a nutritionist and I'm giving it to my dog. So how can I incorporate self-selection for my dog and choices in like a daily basis? Like in every bowl, how can I incorporate that? If maybe just in a few common examples you can tell so that everybody can understand.
I think on a daily basis, one thing is with regards to food, for example. Give them choices in their bowls, choices in the sense like try and see if you can give it to them on a platter instead of in a bowl. So they know what they're eating. You put your garlic somewhere, you put your herbs somewhere, you put your organs, you put your meat. Let them select what they want in what order they want to eat it in. If they're leaving something, try and understand why they're leaving it. Are they leaving it because the meat has gone bad and they know it? Are they leaving it because it's too raw for them, or it's something that they feel their body doesn't need? So you start understanding a lot of choices right from there. Um, then what you can do, offer them a few nutrients every once in a while. Like, you could offer them barley grass, you could offer garlic barley grass powder, you could offer them spirulina, you can offer them dandelion root tea. You can make few teas, with roots and herbs. But I would always say try and like keep it single ingredients and not like always a blend, and see what they need. And with detox, there are plenty. Like you can look at even spirulina, because spirulina, if there's any sort of like a pathogen or a bacterial infection, or if they need an immunity support, spirulina is something that a dog would select. Barley grass, if there is any sort of like a deficiency, they would want to select that. And then looking for like a cleanse, if the kidney needs support, or you can always look at dandelion root as a tea. You can offer that to them. If they feel that the lymphatic system needs some sort of a cleanse, or if there's dampness built up or any of that, you can offer them echinacea tea and see if they're selecting that. So you can do that on a monthly basis and offer them all of these and see what they're choosing, and let them guide you on that. Like, see what they're choosing. Even in terms of vegetables and greens, one is to try and go as seasonal as you can, because that really, really also like plays a big role in how you're syncing them with the nature and the nature's energy. So you can offer them, bitter greens sometime. You can offer them something sweet sometime. You can offer them fiber. You can offer them different, because every color of the vegetable also has like properties, right? So when you're offering them different colors, see which ones they're picking, because that will also give you a clue. Okay, this color would kind of like mean that they need some sort of like say something to do with maybe the gut, like because they all have these medicinal aspect attached to the color as well. So I would say you can give them of choices in a lot of ways like that, and see what they're choosing. And then again, I spoke about having a little herb garden, so you can have like herbs like lemongrass, thyme, oregano, basil, um, all of that, and like see what they want to have every once in a while. And if they're looking at something, even if they're actually going for the soil of a particular plant, that would give you a clue, because the soil would be enriched with something from the roots of that particular plant.
Absolutely.
So those also give you a lot of clues. Like when we came here, for example, this time, second time around, both my dogs went and they were eating soil from a lemon plant that was here. And I just worked with, I figured that they're looking for like a liver cleanse, because it was a little bit of a stressful journey to come here with all the packing and the moving and everything else. And yeah, so after I offered them my botanicals, they took to what they wanted. They never went back to that plant. They never went back to eating that soil. So a lot of times, like even a particular plant and the soil or the leaf or the fruit of the plant that they're eating, they kind of give you a lot of clues.
This is so fascinating to hear about because I think we miss out on these things on a daily basis because we're not aware. As I said, we like making choices for them and, thinking about them. We always say that dogs are sentient beings, but I think this is what it truly means. Let them decide what they're okay with and what they're not. And we have mostly talked about that in behavior, but listening to that, in holistic care and, in overall diet and everything, that's so fascinating because I had no clue about this. So I just knew ki, okay, iske liye ye hai, this is this for this. And and then I actually saw her leaving a lot of times, leaving things, and then I would just trick her into eating that somehow. No, this is important. So I think this is a very good lesson for pet parents that if the dog is leaving something, just let it be. So, but yeah, there is one question that has bothered me in that there are some dogs who are like, they absolutely do not like a particular ingredient. Like some dogs hate vegetables, all vegetables. So if we offer them the choice, maybe on a plate, as you said, and they reject everything, like all the veggies, then is that fine? But would it not cause some deficiency, or is that their way to communicate us about something?
So, uh, yeah, I think dogs not wanting vegetables is absolutely fine unless you're actually seeing a particular symptom and you feel, no, my dog needs this. Like, for example, if your dog's having some sort of like a digestive issue and you feel like, no, I need to give fiber, I need to give some pumpkin, I need to kind of figure a way that, um, you have it. So there are different ways that you could actually try figuring this out. Try like different fibers, and see even if they're picking in terms of, I would say, see even if they're wanting it grated or they don't want it pureed or they want it just cut and like, raw. Like there's certain vegetables that you can give raw. So try and see maybe textures also sometimes make a difference. Offer them as choices for that. If they're not having vegetables, I really think with dogs it's fine because most from the ancestral bit, if you actually see, that you would always get like the plant matter from the stomach of whichever animal they were, you know.
True.
So I think unless there's a reason or if there's a condition that you feel that you really, really need to like kind of give them a certain vegetable, I would say that it's fine. It's okay. Maybe they just don't want it. It's absolutely fine. But do keep offering. I would say there could be like a certain phase where they would be like, oh, I want it. I want it today. So
True.
it's very easy to do that because you're also eating a certain vegetable sometimes. So, you could just have like two bits for them and see whether they'll take to it.
So this is a very interesting point that you made that keep trying because I had just posted a story like a couple days back. All of a sudden Penny started eating an apple. I don't know why, how, because I always kept trying and she would just spit it out and just go. One day I was just eating, I said, let me just try. And I just gave it to her and she ate it. Same thing happened with the coconut piece. Like she hates it since she's never liked apples, never. Only blueberries she has been good with. But now she started rejecting that. So again, I'm not forcing it on her. But yeah, that was a very big revelation that I mean, we can find it funny that, oh, they're fussy and they're throwing a tantrum, but it's like she was trying to tell me it's my choice and I like an apple now, then it's fine. Give me a piece or two.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying, like when you were talking about what holistic parents can do on an everyday basis, when you're eating the fruits, when your diet has a lot of stuff that, you would want to like just try every once in a while and see if they eat it. It's very easy to do that because otherwise, if you're not eating fruits, you're not going to buy
Exactly.
an apple for like one piece to try and see whether they're going to eat it. And then you just stop trying because you're like, no, my dog doesn't eat it. So you'll never like do it again.
Yeah.
And with apples, something that I have figured over time is a lot of dogs love it when it is steamed. A lot of them love it when it's steamed. It's much easier for their digestion. So that's another thing you can
And
try
it's easier
with.
to gulp also, like because they don't chew a lot, so it's easier to take it in.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Shivani, that was an amazing session, and my mind is blown again. Thank you so much. I'm sure people have learned so much. I mean, amongst all the sessions, this was like a revelation for many because people have no idea about this, this fear and this fear. And thank you so much for shedding light, and thank you for agreeing to do this. I know how camera shy and things like that you are, but you are a pro. I can see it in today's session.
Thank you. I mean, I was extremely like I told you, I feel like, because I've chatted with you so many times, I
Yeah,
feel like I know you, even though we've never met or really
true.
like spoken. But I had to do this with someone I'm more
Yeah,
comfortable
that
with. I'm
that,
so
that
grateful.
helps. That really helps. And thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge. Uh, this was amazing, and I'm trying to soak it all in. It was so much knowledge. I hope people who have missed it they watch it later on. So thanks, Shivani, for the time. And if you want to just maybe give a message to people who have joined, and just a generic summary that do this, do that, do's and don'ts maybe.
I would say that, like, one, don't stress with everyday things. Nothing has to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. Nobody knows everything. But whatever you're doing, believe in it. If you're giving food, give it with good energy, like give everything to it, because that also really, really makes a lot of difference. So whatever you're doing for them, do it with good energy, and somehow it all like energetically in the universe kind of just like falls into place over time. I would also say that healing is and can be very lonely. Um, Always have someone to talk to, talk it out, always have people for support, because I think that's one thing we have strong and going as a bud community. We have people that we can work with, support each other. So
Absolutely.
don't ever feel that you're alone. Don't ever feel that you don't have anyone to talk to, and seek help. Seek help as much as possible, and just keep giving choices. Listen to your dogs. Your dogs are always communicating. Their language is different, very different. Uh, but also don't like try to diagnose behavior or any physical symptoms on your own or through Google. So yeah, just keep giving choices and choices. And if you ever need to ask anything, we have a free discovery call on our website. So you can always call, you can always ask right here.
So I'll just quickly go through the comments to see if maybe somebody has a question that we have not covered. Most of the things we have, but I'll just see if anybody has questions. Hmm. Uh, is this applicable only for cures or also for prevention?
Um, it definitely works as a prevention as well. Herbs do, and that's why I was talking about like, how it's good to have like some sort of like a maintenance check by offering them botanicals and herbs, because we as much as we're doing, prevention is something that I think is kind of needed, because we live like in a toxin environment. So it's good to have preventive measures for your dogs, especially because the dogs are way, way more sensitive. They pick up things way faster than we can even imagine. So yes, you definitely can work as in the prevention space, in the sense that understanding your dog and having botanicals in that aspect, in terms of their synergy, in terms of the energetics, and having those and offering it to them on a monthly basis as a maintenance check.
If a dog is combining foraging for herbs and also seeking geophagy, what possible directions could the dog be indicating?
So, I would say it definitely, most often it's like some sort of like a built-up of bacteria, or it could be like a dysbiosis in the gut. Uh, I I mean, with geophagy, it's most often with dogs, basis their enzymatic profile is most often when they're looking to get rid of pathogens built up or an imbalance of bacteria or something within. But they're also practicing it and wanting like some sort of like herbs or grass or something in support. Try to like figure if the stool, get a stool analysis, see if the stool is kind of giving you any indications, if there is some sort of bacterial or a parasite infection that may be causing it. Try to also see if there is a certain time of the day when they're showing any other symptoms, because that, you can also kind of connect it with the circadian rhythm and try to figure out if, which part of the organ could be uh, indicating that there is like an infection or something going on. But you'll have to connect a lot of symptoms and figure this out. But definitely get a stool test done. Even if the stool is seeming right, I would say get a stool test done.
Could you please share one key tip that humans of senior dogs should bear in mind?
Sorry.
One key tip. Could you please share one key tip that humans of senior dogs should bear in mind?
Mm, give them everything that they've always wanted, that they've always loved. Care for senior dogs, I think, try and look for like ways that you don't have to like stress them by taking them out, especially if they are in pain. Um, take them out in nature as often as possible. If they're good to go in nature. Um, Senior dog care is honestly very, very critical. I was working with one dog, and I've learned so much from their humans as well. Um, Also, you have to understand that with senior dogs, they need a lot of care, they need a lot of attention. So you have to kind of like remember that odd hours, um, waking up at odd hours, being there for every need, because it starts depending on you a lot more than anyone else. So you have to be kind of like a little prepared for that as well, to give them all the time that you can. So these are the few. I mean, there's just so much in senior dog care, but these are the few that I can just like think on top of my head.
So should like joint care be like a focus for them, maybe with supplements or with just regular diet, it's enough?
Senior dogs, yes, I would say that they do start needing a little bit of more care. Prevention, again, is good. You start doing a lot of management at home with, having like making sure that they have like some sort of like a thing beneath the couches, the beds, so they're not like really having to like jump up from heights, having like a lot of rugs around, picking them up and putting in the car, even if they don't have the pain, because pain is again like something that a lot of dogs don't show it so easily. It's not very obvious. It's very misleading. Um, so I would say that with travel and a lot of dogs, I feel, especially the senior dogs that don't like the ramp, because it kind of has an imbalance. When they're going up, puts pressure on the hind legs. When they're going down, puts pressure on the front legs. So best way is to carry them and put them, make a nice little seating for them, make sure they're comfortable in the car. So a lot of prevention, if they're not showing like really big signs of pain, for sure, a lot of management is needed. There's no harm in adding some sort of like a supplement, or at least like things like broths and, supplements from like the nutrients, I would say, rather, from the diet. But definitely speak to someone who can really understand pain signs in dogs, which are not obvious at all.
Thanks a lot, Shivani. I know we spoke for a lot extra minutes, but it was so amazing to know this. And thank you so much for answering everything in such depth and sharing everything so lovingly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shruti.
Okay.
I miss seeing Penny. I miss seeing you. You even
I
now.
can understand. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good night.